What is going on, everybody?
Hello.
It is Pixel Partners here, and welcome back to the Great Ace 32. Where we left off, well, the
giant
reveal
truth was revealed. Pandora's box was open, if you will.
The reveal of the series was shown. We've discovered who the true identity of the Professor after all along, and it was Clint Van Ziek's, Barrick's brother. And now the judge...
Who was allegedly murdered by the Professor, but no?
We're going to see what's... Because Strongheart is about to tell all. And we're going to see how this goes. I mean, he has no reason to not to anymore, since we've opened up the floodgates, as he said, pretty much.
Unless he leaves some stuff out.
I mean, what I think of now, when it comes to all this, with Strongheart being evil... isn't necessarily the fact of him committing murders or anything. I think what he's done to this point is he's trying to protect the country from knowing the truth of what happened. And unfortunately, because he's not, the best, he's doing that by any means necessary, whether that means killing the people that were involved beforehand or not. So he's still evil as fuck.
Yeah.
But he's not necessarily a murderer himself. He's just done a bunch of shitty things to protect the country, which you can... defend that in a way. We'll have to see what the excuse is for everything, but if that's the way it is, which is what it seems to be like, is, he's just kind of... he does shitty things for a greater good for the country. But let's see what happens. Lord Clint Van Zieks was too pure of heart. When he became a prosecutor and went in pursuit of the black roots of crime, he drove himself into a corner. He came to the uncomfortable realization that to fight the most fiendish of criminals requires one to become even more fiendish oneself. Clint.
Oof.
Here we go. The 19th century was a truly miraculous 100 years for Great Britain, and indeed the whole world. New industry, new technology, and with the birth of the Metropolitan Police Service, new law and order. But these dazzling new developments meant even deeper shadows were cast on society. Water sullied by factories, air thick with noxious fumes and crime, growing daily to fill the darkness. Lord Clint Van Zieks made it his mission to combat that darkness. But as time went on, it slowly ate at his soul until eventually, he was consumed. It's ironic, really, and somewhat surprising, that the truth has once again been unearthed. By a Japanese. Once again? What do you mean? 10 years ago, your father, Genshin Asogi, turned up at my office one night. The Professor? Yes, beyond all shadow of a doubt. You must issue a warrant to search his home at once.
You sound very calm.
Don't be absurd. The man comes from one of our country's most illustrious families. He's a paragon of justice here in the capital. Yes, that's the point. That's why none of you British can see it. He's using his noble status as diversion whilst he commits these atrocious crimes behind the scenes. Do you have evidence? Nothing definitive as yet. But he keeps an enormous savage hound at the estate. We need the full support of the judiciary for this. We're up against a member of the aristocracy. So a large family estate and a fierce guard dog. You should know that's commonplace here in Britain. I'm sorry, but I can't possibly put Scotland Yard into this based on the tenuous accusation of visiting student.
Huh.
So I turned down Asogi's plea, and as a result, he took it upon himself to visit the Van Zieks mansion on his own. You can only imagine now what happened between the two men. Though we know the outcome, of course, Lord Clint Van Zieks perished. I don't believe this.
So, in actual fact, Kazumasawa's father did.
He made the late Lord Van Zieks meet the same fate. He put a permanent end to the Professor killings by taking the drastic measure of ending the perpetrator's life.
That's what it meant by he did end the life of
Yeah.
someone. Yeah.
So he did. He wasn't the professor, but he did end someone's life, and that was the
Yeah.
professor's. But he couldn't say that because he was known as the professor.
Yeah.
And he kind of took the way of taking the fall for it, too, to make it
Yeah.
look less bad. As soon as I hurried to the mansion. When I arrived, it was easy to grasp what had happened. And what about the will? Asogi must have already taken it. Nothing of that nature was found at the scene. We had no idea of the existence of such a document at that time.
Hmm.
Hooey.
He's not doing well.
I was the only person who knew of the true identity of the professor. So, I resolved to keep it a secret and to guard the secret to the bitter end. So you're admitting to it? That you were behind it all? It was you, then, who pinned the crimes on my father. I did what needed to be done in order to protect the law and order of the British Empire.
As long as you stop hating Barrack.
Even if that means employing an unforgivable ruse. Then it was you who arranged this fabricated evidence. I ordered that detective to take care of it, whilst keeping the truth from him, naturally. Gregson. Obviously, he opposed me at first.
Hey, you could do his voice again.
Are you off, Parker? We can't do something like that.
Oh, Greg.
There's no question that it was Asogi who murdered Lord Van Zeeks. The house staff have made statements that they saw the man running from the mansion that night.
Yes, well, I've no doubt it was that Japanese fella. But we haven't got a shred of conclusive evidence against the man. And worse than that, he doesn't keep a dog. So we're short of a murder weapon to boot.
And we're short on time, Gregson. We must put a stop to this man's rampage, for the good of the country. So we'll use whatever means necessary. Do I make myself clear, detective?
Blimey.
So Gregson didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah.
So that night 10 years ago, when I was attacked by those thugs in the back streets, and Genshin's ring was taken, that was him, was it? That was Gregson and some hired help. Then the detective handed the stolen ring to Dr. Wilson, who feigned its discovery from the victim's stomach during the autopsy. And in light of that decisive evidence, Mr. Asogi was found guilty of the charges brought against him. However, behind the scenes, he had actually already struck a deal with his accusers, in which he agreed to silently accept the charges. But I just don't believe that part. As far as I knew the man, my father despised such underhand dealings. It was extremely easy to make him comply. You see, he had one crippling weakness. What weakness?
Was it you, Kazuma?
Isn't it obvious? You,
Yep.
Kazuma Asogi. Me? Perhaps you have no desire to return to your homeland, Asogi. What? Though I hear you have a 14-year-old son. Agree to cooperate and accept your guilt without contention, and you will see Japan and your son again. You scoundrel. Whether you choose wisely or not, it will be a closed trial by order of Her Majesty, so whatever rash claims you might make in court, we'll have no trouble in stifling them. There's only one outcome for you, Asogi. The gallows. Don't forget that I still have a weapon at my disposal. A document revealing a truth that I know you're desperate to keep hidden. Yes, it hadn't escaped my mind, which is the only reason I'm willing to bargain with you. I only want to protect this country's law and order. You understand? So, what's it to be, Asogi? Kazuma.
Aww. Aww.
He did it for me?
That's sad.
And as I told him at the time, my motive was simply to protect Britain from the damage the truth would do. To protect this country's law and order. At any cost.
What is it with Capcom and picking on dads?
Objection!
It's always the dads.
Oh boy. I've never dared let myself even consider this possibility until now. But in the light of all this treachery, I have to ask. The mastermind behind the Reaper of the Bailey. Was it you, Lord Mail Strongheart?
He's smirking.
A rather brilliant idea, wouldn't you say, Lord Beric Van Zeeks?
No.
That the spirit of your late brother, that paragon of justice, should return to reap justice for his sibling. Could there be a more appetizing tale for London's masses, I ask you?
What brazen?
I knew that you'd play the part to perfection, but your role really wasn't that of some embodiment of death. No, you were London's guardian angel.
An angel with bloody hands? I think not.
Those who would cooperate with me already were only too happy to participate in my plan. Inspector Gregson, Dr. Wilson. My minions worked tirelessly to ensure that the finger of guilt could never come to rest on you. It's all thanks to them that you were exalted as the demigod the Reaper became.
He's like, I didn't really want that.
But Dr. Wilson left Britain 4 years ago when he was invited to work in Japan. That's right. So I had to employ the services of his young protege after that. Dr. Courtney Sith.
Dr. Sith?
So what with the execution of the professor at the subsequent reign of the Reaper of the Bailey, I've successfully safeguarded law and order in our mighty capital for the past decade. That is everything.
Well, he didn't leave anything out of that one, I will admit.
Yeah.
He did kind of say everything. With confidence to boot, too.
We still don't know why Asogi got shot, though.
That is the big question, though. That is the big question to find out of what happened there.
Yeah, we still don't know that.
Like, maybe this could be a way of getting Strongheart for more than he's already said. But, like, potentially was supposed to make a deal so that Genshin could go home to his son, who he wanted to see.
It's like, that's a contradiction. He died anyway.
But then his thought process was that even if I let him go, he knows the secret, and I can't trust him to keep it safe.
Yeah.
So he's like, to cover my ass, I shot the man myself, and then walked away.
Maybe.
The best guess would be the fact of just to continue to safeguard the secret and double-cross him when he rose out of the grave.
I wouldn't put it past Strongheart to double-cross anybody. In any situation.
My lords, ladies, and gentlemen, I do hereby confess, it was I who sired the concept of the Reaper. However, let me say in my defense, it was all for the preservation of law and order across the entire empire.
Lord Strongheart did it.
An unforgivable collection of crimes, but still.
Oh, those who died at the Reaper's hand were rotten to the core anyway.
Wow. He was an aid and keep London safe.
The mad bastard pulled it off.
Yep.
There's no one left who can reveal the precise truth of what happened 10 years ago. Therefore, this trial can go no further. Now I would like to entreat all those present. Beyond these four walls, nobody need know the truth. Even Her Majesty must be protected from this. I trust you all appreciate the importance of my request. It is, of course, for the good of the country.
He's like, holy shit.
Can he do this? Can the trial really end now?
I have one last question. For the accused, Lord Van Zeeks.
What?
He's
Leave
like,
me alone. I thought we were over that I didn't do this.
Yeah.
Of course, I know that you're a highly accomplished prosecutor, so I find it hard to believe that you didn't have any doubts at all. That you never suspected your older brother.
Yes, the same thought occurred to me.
Like, he's a very smart man.
He probably just wanted to inside he probably denied it, like, I just couldn't believe it.
It was only once, but yes, I couldn't say that I never had my doubts.
Huh?
My brother's sense of justice was extremely strong. Perhaps too strong, I observed.
At that time, there were members of the aristocracy who were bleeding the country dry for their own gain. And since they were nobles, they were untouchable. For my brother, it was a source of great turmoil. And coincidentally, at the same time, the professor began his terrifying reign. During the time of the professor killings, my brother did not appear to be himself.
And that made you suspect?
Yes. But it was only once, not more.
Only once? Really?
Clint wasn't the culprit. That was my conclusion at the time. And I still believe that now.
Do you have any evidence to support that idea?
The third victim was the Lord Chief Justice at the time. It was he who had recognized my brother's potential and trained him as a prosecutor. No matter what the circumstances, it's unthinkable that my brother could have killed his friend and mentor.
Oh, so that's why.
That will do.
Huh?
Neither Clint Van Zieks nor Genshin Sogi still walk this earth. However much we debate this matter now, we cannot hope to reach a conclusion. But
Oh god, he stood.
there are only two excellent pieces of evidence from the time. The woebegone ring that acted as the incriminating evidence to condemn Genshin Asogi, and the 3-page last will and testament penned in black ink and left behind by the man. The wretched truth of what happened is exactly as I have explained.
As far as we know.
There's still more. Later today, I will present myself at the Ministry of Justice for whatever sanction is deemed appropriate. That is all. Court is adjourned.
But there's still so many more questions.
Objection!
Yeah, there you go, buddy.
And we have the rabbit still.
Yeah. It's like, hey, Sherlock.
So,
Don't worry, I found Asogi. He's alive.
I was gonna say, the only thing, because they just made the point of saying, you know, the two of them are dead.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, I was just looking for Genshin, but all of a sudden, for the strangest reason, I found Clint too. I thought you cut him open. What the fuck is going on here?
Would you like to talk to them?
Thank you, Kazuma. Me? If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have made this 11th hour discovery. What discovery? What the fuck's going on? My lord! I'm afraid I must insist the trial continues. I beg your pardon?
I love Ryu.
As the court has been reminded today already, we must stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth. And to that end, one particular statement made by somebody in this courtroom moments ago
Is he gonna point it out too?
revealed a very subtle contradiction. What contradiction? But all I did was ask the accused one simple question.
Well, it began with Lord Van Zieks and his recollection about his brother. But Lord Strongheart didn't permit the defendant to speak at length.
I merely pointed out that we can draw no further useful conclusions here. So what on earth is the contradiction? One of them definitely just said something contradictory. It's time to identify who.
Yeah.
I don't know how far back I can go, but
Very subtle.
Because there was our objection. So they're stronger talking about the only two pieces of evidence at the time are the ring and the
And the
three-page will.
papers.
But then Van Zieks, that was pretty much saying.
Wait, where did he cut Van Zieks off?
I don't. He did. He just said.
He started talking about how he didn't think that his brother would kill his friend and mentor, and then
Yeah. So Van
Strongheart
Zieks,
was like, "That's enough. We don't need to hear any more about that."
he didn't actually cut him off because he was just saying he only thought about it once, not more, and he was just saying that Clint wasn't the culprit. I still believe that now. He was like, "Do you have any evidence?" And then he talked about the third victim being the Lord Chief Justice at the time, and he couldn't believe that.
Well, no, he said that will do. He said you.
Yeah, but
and that's like, see, Van Zieks was like, "What?"
True. So, but which person said the contradiction? Technically. Oh, we have to think this through.
Save.
Yeah, saving is a smart idea. Huh. But if it was contradictory, what did Van Zeke say that contradicted what? Because we don't really have anything about the killings that would contradict, like, the order of... Huh. What are you thinking while I look through things nonchalantly? I'm looking for you to fill a dead end here while I try and see what could possibly be pointing out a contradiction here. You're not filling dead air for me very well.
Something tells me that we should pick Strongheart.
But the biggest thing with that is finding a third piece of evidence that I don't think we have.
Yeah.
I'll say Lord Van Zeke's for now. Like I said, I also feel Strongheart, but I don't know what we have that would go against that. Like, I don't know if we have the third piece that we need to contradict his.
Okay.
Because if we pick Lord Strongheart, we need to have the evidence that contradicts it. But I just don't know what that is. It was Lord Strongheart, I'm sure of it. Something he said was slightly off. Come on, Ryusuke, think back to his words. Find the problem. Neither Clint Van Zeeks nor Genshin Asogi still walk this earth. However much we debate this matter now, we cannot hope to reach a conclusion. There are only two extant pieces of evidence from the time. What we got ring that is the incriminating evidence to condemn Genshin Asogi, and the 3-page last will. Wait! Well, that's it. I'm an idiot. I was totally overthinking that. That's a contradiction. There it is. The will was 2 pages long. There's a page missing from Genshin Asogi's will.
That was very subtle.
I didn't.
See, there was something.
That's such a small thing to have been there for a second.
Something was telling me that it had to be Strongheart, but I couldn't pin what.
Yeah, that's.
So it's a good thing you listened to me.
Yes, Lord Strongheart, would you care to explain? Explain what, Counsel? Among these statements you made just a few moments ago, something you said was inconsistent with a certain piece of evidence we have.
Didn't we do a bit about the document being more than just a couple pages?
I think we've said that a couple times, because when it came to the weapon, we're like, oh, there's pages missing there.
This like 17-page thing.
And whilst an inconsistency remains, the defense has the right to pursue an explanation. Ryusuke, what? He's like, I thought we were done.
Yeah.
We warned you about the statements you are making, Counsel. They may very well prove fatal. You claim my words contain a contradiction? What piece of evidence? Well, that would be... Let me find the Asogi papers.
Paper.
Because it's 2 pages.
Yeah.
And he said 3. So...
Take that!
You done goofed, boy.
That's what you get for being so detailed with your words.
And this here is the will left behind by Mr. Asogi. The 2-paged will. What? Yet moments ago, your precise words were the 3-page last will and testament. Could it be that originally there was a 3rd page? For a moment, I thought perhaps you'd identified something worthwhile, but it's a mere trifle, I see.
What?
A trifle? Governor Caden?
What can I do for you, sir?
You were present when the Japanese man penned his last will and testament.
Aye, I was there for sure. I remember the black worm-like scrolls to this day. And I'm quite certain alone that there was a 3rd page at the time.
What?
Only the first 2 pages were of the actual will, though. If I mind correctly, the 3rd was a message to his lad back in Japan.
For legal purposes, we required only his will.
We wouldn't have wanted any uncomfortable words about Britain to get back to Japan, eh? So it was decided that the 3rd page oughtn't to be sent.
Objection!
How dare you make that decision? I had a right to know what it said, to hear my father's final words to me. The courtroom is no place for sentimentality, Counsel.
Wow.
As it happens, I have the 3rd page of the document with me right here now.
Wow, thanks. That's convenient.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Like my father's message.
It will be given to you at the end of these proceedings.
It'll be too late once the
Yeah.
trial is over. We need to know what it says now. Even the slightest thing may give us a vital clue.
Mm-hmm. It's like,
My
well,
lord,
hand it over.
The defense calls for Genshin Asogi's last words to his son to be read out loud before the court now. Your request is denied. The inevitability of maudlin words can be of no consequence now.
Objection.
The prosecution agrees. The court should show the content of that message.
Should know.
Every possible piece of evidence must be thoroughly examined.
Very well then, Governor Caden. You'll read the third page of the document for all present to hear.
Yes, sir! Only, I should point out, my lord, I don't know Japanese. I cannot actually read worm language.
Worm language. Is that Sherlock?
I don't.
I don't.
This has been fun. Shame on you, Barry.
Oh, it's
shame on you,
him.
Barry.
It was close. It's Sherlock's partner
If I can be
instead.
of assistance here, I would be happy to translate the words in English for the court.
Father, where the hell did you come from?
You're still here, are you, Dr. Mikatoba? Naturally, I consider myself a member of the judiciary, albeit a lowly one.
That's
But
fair.
perhaps I should finally withdraw after I've translated Genshin's message.
That's a.
Your cooperation is much appreciated.
He's like, I'll leave after I drop this bomb.
He's like, and I should probably get out too.
Kazuma, the truth is shrouded in darkness. That darkness only our clan's great sword can pierce.
Huh.
Mighty Karuma, twist thy head and watch him fall. All of thy mortal foes.
It's a riddle.
That's the end of the message, it would seem.
It's a riddle.
A haiku poem? Twist thy head?
Father. What is Karuma?
The name of Asogi clan's famous sword. A razor-sharp blade known to all, passed down for generations. It embodies the Japanese spirit.
What is one of the key items of this game?
So I think I know why we have the sword now. I think you twist the handle
Yeah.
tilt, or probably maybe the top part, which I guess you could consider the head. But
It's not known to me.
it's the katana sword that was submitted as evidence earlier in these proceedings. The one worn by the prosecution counsel when he confronted Inspector Gregson. Here's the third page.
All these procrastinations beginning to try my patience. The adjournment of this court is long overdue. As the presiding judge have been as accommodating as possible of the will of the courtroom. However, despite all that, no new information has come to light.
That's not true. It's a riddle.
In pursuit of justice, Lord Clint Van Zeeks tragically lost all sense of morality. When he murdered his former mentor, clearly he was already devoid of his normal facilities.
Faculties.
Faculties. Fuck! How dare you! I refuse to believe that of my brother. Too much time has passed. We cannot ever hope to know more than we do now. Especially since the alleged will that he penned in his final moments appears to have been lost forever. Ah,
He probably hid it in the sword.
Yeah.
Lord Strongheart, you appear to be in something of a hurry to wrap things up. I wonder why. We've heard you state time and again during these proceedings that everything you did was in the interest of protecting British law and order. And I stand by that. Without the Reaper, we could never have achieved the reduction in crime the capital has seen.
You could have done it with laws.
Yeah.
What about Inspector Gregson then?
And Dr. Wilson.
They were no criminals.
Yeah.
You used them to achieve your ends, and then you had them killed. However you dress it up, there was nothing fair or just about that.
He's smirking.
Lord Strongheart, what exactly is it that you're hiding? Dr. Mikatoba, were you not to quietly withdraw after the translation of your former associate's will? Oh, here we go again. All right, I'll go. Brick. In this courtroom, no argument carries weight unless it is supported by evidence. And it would seem that the defense has no more evidence to present. In which case, I hereby order all discourse from these proceedings to be struck from the record.
Oh, you fucking asshole. This is my last chance.
Mr. Naruhodo!
I have to present some decisive evidence now, or it's all over. But can I? Number one,
Yeah.
let's see if we can touch the sword now. I would like... Oh... Mighty Karma, twist thy head and watch them fall, all thy mortal foes. That's the proper way to use this sword, isn't it? Maybe I should try it. It hurts my neck, that's the trouble.
Mr. Naruhodo, if I might make a suggestion, I think perhaps it doesn't mean your head.
Oh!
I once studied the history and development of the katana some time ago, and as I'm sure you're probably aware, the sword's head is the part at the very end of the hilt.
Yes! Do it!
It's written as head in Japanese, but it's pronounced as kashira, I believe.
Kashira? Some of Shogi's words really mean twist the butt of the hilt. You don't think... Oh, I do.
Yep.
Oh,
Ah!
boy. Look what's inside it.
Is that a tightly wound sheet of parchment? Yo.
Ooh, fancy. I can't read that. Scarlet ink! It's written in scarlet ink! I penned this, my last will and testament, in the final moments before my inevitable and willing death.
Willing death.
This is it, isn't it?
Mr. Naruhodo, look at the signature at the end.
Clint Van Zeeks. And the date, 10 years ago on that fateful night.
So for 10 years, it's been silently concealed inside Karama and nobody knew.
I've been holding it half the time I was here.
The last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zeeks.
Wait. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This is unbelievable. Ooh.
Can we read it?
Oh yeah. What? I can't.
We can't read
I can't
it.
examine it. I have to present it before we can read it.
That sucks.
That's fucking clever. They're like, we're gonna make you wait. But we can present evidence now.
Yep.
I need this in my life. Come on. Wait, my lord. As it happens, the defense does have evidence to present. Ooh.
The music.
What? Don't be absurd. There's nothing of relevance remaining from the time.
Objection!
It's high time that you realize something, my lord. This gentleman has an uncanny habit of producing evidence at the final hour that had escaped everyone else's attention.
He's like, I would know. I've lost to him.
Nonsense. What is it, Ryunosuke? What do you have?
Holy shit. I dare say. The final decisive piece of evidence that will reveal the whole truth about this rotten tale.
How can you? Decisive? Well, it would appear there's no escaping it now, my lord. Let it be so, then. Present whatever you think you have that can settle this decade-old enigma, if you're capable.
No, you have no idea.
What exactly is this evidence that the defense claims to be so decisive?
Oh, gee, I don't know. Maybe Clint Van Zeeks' will?
Yeah. Can't read it yet, but we have to wait for it to be revealed.
Yeah.
There is a single piece of evidence that can clarify what really happened 10 years ago.
The last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zeeks.
Ha! A wonderfully astute observation, I'm sure. But in case it had escaped your notice, that document was lost long ago.
Oh, you mean this one?
That's right. It was.
Just holds it up.
Only... I have it right here. Discovered just moments ago, actually.
Impossible. That can't be.
Bruh.
Everything that's happened comes back to this will. This document is the key that will unlock the entire mystery.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a new one. No!
Yeah, it is.
That was a face of shock. my brother's last will and testament. Where did you find that?
It was in his sword.
It was rolled up inside this.
He's like, what?
Inside Karma?
The ultimate weapon Genshin Isogi obtained has lain undisturbed in the hilt of this sword all these years, just waiting for the right time to emerge and reveal the truth.
It has lain inside.
The sanctioned seal certainly look official.
He would be able to confirm it.
My God, it's true. It's my brother's handwriting. There can be no mistake.
Yep, he confirmed it.
What the fuck does this read? Oh my God. I forbid the contents of the document from being read out. Do you hear me? I strictly forbid it.
Too bad, boy. Sit down.
You can't do that, my lord. This time I can explain everything, you little bitch.
That document could literally destroy the meaning of justice in this country.
Well, good luck
I
repairing it
demand
then.
you hand it to me at once.
No.
Why? Are you trying to hide?
What
are you trying to hide? But it's cooler if it says, are you trying to hide? Could it be that you already know what's written on this page?
What are you implying? The court is adjourned and with immediate effect. Clear the courtroom.
He's like, no.
Do that, my lord, and you'll suffer a fatal blow as Lord Chief Justice.
I beg your pardon. Forcibly ending a trial without good reason? Not any trial, a closed trial by order of Her Majesty the Queen. To defy the monarch's will is treason.
Yeah, he can't.
Well, Clint Van Zant really did pen a will that day.
Exactly as this young Japanese man said.
Read it out, now!
We have a right to hear what's in that will. A right and a duty.
Well, my lord. It would rather appear, as the proceedings aren't going quite as you'd hoped. You fools.
Go ahead, Ryunosuke. Read it. The prosecution gives its full support.
Partner.
Very well, then. And we're gonna read it next time.
Wow, evil.
For those of you watching it with us, I'm so sorry, but like ever since I realized what it was, I'm like, I'm gonna stop this right before we read it, just for the sake of like, that's the perfect cliffhanger. Because I know that there are a bunch of people that have like are watching it through us for the first time. I'm so sorry, all of you. I'm sorry.
You're not sorry. I looked over as you were saying that, and you had an evil ass smirk on your face.
Where's your evidence to prove that? There's no face cam. Ha ha!
No, but there's my eyes. I see all.
Oh God.